Thank you for joining us today for RedLineLV.com, our tutorial on how to make a print-ready file for both offset and digital printing. We will start by making a business card, and this tutorial can also apply to postcards, rack cards, any flat card that's not going to fold or have any die cut or special cutting instructions. So we're going to start our business card today, and we're going to start that by going to File, New, and a business card size is 2 by 3.5 inches. Although a printer is going to need extra trim area. That is called a bleed. So we're going to go ahead and make a horizontal card at 2.125 by 3.625. So that extra 0.125 actually gets trimmed off in the finishing process. The resolution is going to be a minimum of 300. This is very important. Anything less, especially web files that are 72 dpi, are not going to give a good result and will result in a poor quality product. The color mode for offset and digital printing, you'll be using CMYK. It's very important that you don't use RGB, as RGB is mainly confined to the web and large format printing. CMYK is going to be what your printer is looking for. So we're going to go ahead and start our project by clicking OK. Now, as you'll see here, we have a nice, simple white artboard to start with for our business card. Now, before we get going and actually designing or making anything fancy, we need to put our guides on. This will define the area that we can design in and give us an idea of the space in ratio to where the card will be cut down. So we're going to go ahead and click on View, New Guide, and our first guide will be set vertically at 0.125. Click OK. And we're going to make guides all the way around this card. So we're going to do this 4 times altogether. New guide. Another one at horizontally, 0.125. And your next guide will be vertically at 3.5. And your next guide is going to be horizontally at 2.0. Now you'll see we have these blue lines of these guides all the way around our card. And this is going to define for us the safe zone that we can design inside of. Now, safe zone is very important. The blue line shows the area that you really don't want to put any text past or anything that you might be afraid if it got cut off was important to the content of your design. Now, halfway between this safe zone and the edge of the card is actually the cut line. This is the physical line where the machines and the blades actually going to cross that card and trim off this extra bleed. That was the 0.125 that we added at the beginning of the card. So we have our guides all set up. And for this card, I'm going to want to make a black background. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in a black background very quickly. So I double click to unlock my layer, and I am going to fill that background with black. Now, doing a black background and having it come out rich on glossy and beautiful on that card, you don't want to just click black because you're not going to get the full rich black that you're looking for. Go ahead and click on color, and the printer is going to use a black of 100K, so 100% black, 65% yellow, 65% magenta, and 75% cyan. And we entered our values, so we're going to click OK, and now you see you have a solid black. And you'll also see that your color extends out past the safe zone, past the cut line of the card. What that's going to give you is when the blade cuts right across the card, you have black all the way to the edge, and you're not going to worry about any kind of white border accidentally showing up or the graphic being to the right or to the left and unexpected results because you have full bleed of the card. Then we have our rich black will come out really nice. Now, if you were to not use those color settings for the black, you might actually wind up with a charcoal or a light black, and that is what pure black ink looks like on white paper. So we use all the colors to get this nice rich black. Okay, from now we're going to go ahead and add some text and a picture just so I can show you more in relation to these guides. And we're not going to design the whole card because you're probably just checking your business card design or getting started, and you'll take plenty of time on your own to design the card. So let's go ahead and type some test text, and I'll show you in relation. Name and last. So I had the person's name on the card and their phone number. Okay. Now, it's important that you're not putting text past this safe zone. If you didn't have the safe zone there and your text was a little bit over, or maybe you eyeballed it and thought that, oh yeah, that looks good enough, I'm not sure, but without actually checking it. Now look how close we are past the safe zone. Half of that's going to be your cut line. When they load the large stacks of paper into the cutter, that paper can shift very minutely, but just a little shift means, bam, you're cutting that person's name, your whole set of cards is wasted, and because your card was not set up to industry standard specs, you're going to pay for that reprint yourself, unless you have a really nice printer that's willing to work with you on that. So let's just get the card set up to industry standard. Okay, so I would always say to keep it away, just a little bit away from the safe zone. And you can have your text right there. As well as if it's okay to have graphics go out past the safe zone, as long as you are aware where it's going to be cut. Okay. Now, when you go to save your file, we're going to imagine that this card is already completed. When you go to save your file, it's very important you save it properly as well, because you can spend all this time designing it. If you don't get them what they need, it's not going to work out. So go ahead and save the file. I would recommend either a TIFF or EPS. We do not want layers. If you look right here, there's a little area you can see, it says layers. Now, you can save your file for your usage with layers. In fact, that's what we recommend so you can edit it later. But what you send to that printer, they do not want layers, because when they open that and they don't have the font or something might change and give you an unexpected result. So we're going to uncheck the layers box, and we're going to save this as a TIFF, as a copy, and let's just name this BC front test, and click save. Now you'll see here that we have no compression. That is important. Make sure you're not, your computer's not defaulting to JPEG or something like that. And we definitely do not want to save our files as JPEGs for the printer. As well, if your program is asking you, it is important that it's IBM compatible, IBM PC. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. And I'm going to close this file out. Now, if you already have your business card designed and you just need to make sure you have these same specs, you can check them in Photoshop or the program that you already have. Now, it is important, as you'll see here when we open this, that you keep in mind the bleed and the safe zone, as well as the resolution, or DPI, being 300 DPI. Now, what we just set up is going to apply to postcards, business cards, most all items except for something that's going to fold or have a special cut. We thank you for joining us and setting up a print-ready file. We'll have more tutorials later on actual design and style. We'll also have another tutorial on trifold short, which is one of the harder ones.